If you're standing in a quilt shop right now, or you're deep down a YouTube rabbit hole at 11 p.m., or you've just been to a quilt show looking at computerized long arms, wondering whether they are really worth the money, then this video is for you. I've been quilting on a computerized long arm every single day for 10 years now. I run a business from it. I've quilted thousands of quilts on it. And along the way, I've made pretty much every mistake you could expect to make. So before you hand over what is a very significant amount of money, let me tell you what I actually think. Hi, I'm Lindell from the Quilt Room. I'm a professional long arm quilter based in Melbourne, Australia, and I quilt on a Bernina Q24 with Qmatic. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos about life with a long arm. I'll be posting heaps more coming up soon. Right, let's get into it. First things first, when we say a computerized long arm, what does that actually mean? Well, on a manual long arm, you guide the machine head yourself, either freehand or by following a pantograph that's laid out on the back of the machine. On a computerized long arm, the computer does the driving. You load a digital design, tell it where to quilt, and it stitches it out for you automatically. While you watch, sometimes I'll go make a coffee. Now, this does not mean you just get to press start and walk away. I wish. I want to be really clear about that. There is still real skill involved in loading the quilt properly, choosing the right digital pantograph, realigning, and troubleshooting when things go wrong. And they will go wrong. That's just life with a long arm. What computerization gives you is consistency and speed. Once you have a pantograph set up correctly, the machine will stitch it out for you perfectly across the whole quilt, which is something that's very hard to do freehand. So it's a tool. It's a specific, very sophisticated tool. Keep that in mind as we talk through this video, because I think a lot of buyers go in expecting magic and end up a little bit disappointed. It's not magic, it's excellent machinery that rewards the person using it for knowing what they're doing. Okay, let's have the uncomfortable talk about money. What is the real cost of these computers? Because this is the thing that's probably making you feel a little bit sick in your stomach. Computerized long arm machines are not cheap. I'm not going to quote you specific prices because that will depend on which country you live in, which brand of computer you choose, and what's included. But you're talking about a significant investment. It's buying a car, not a sewing machine. A really expensive car that lives in your spare room. So before you commit to any particular brand or model, ask your dealer for a full quote. Machine, frame, table, accessories, setup, training, then add a buffer on top of that. There'll always be something you didn't allow for. And then you've got the learning curve. I want to be honest about this part because I think it possibly surprises new long arm owners the most. The learning curve is real, especially on a computerized machine. There is a lot to learn before you feel comfortable. Loading a quilt correctly takes practice. Learning the software, setting up the designs, troubleshooting computer problems, all of it takes time. No one is instantly good at this. It takes practice and it takes dedication to learn how to use your new computer. You need to allow for a good period of practicing on scrap fabric or quilts that don't mean too much to you before you work on anything precious. Don't buy the machine in November and promise Christmas gifts in December. The other thing I'd say about learning to use a computerized long arm is not just about learning the machine. It's about training your eye to know what pantographs are going to work, what scale they are best quilted out at, understanding what makes a quilt design look good, knowing which pantographs will suit the quilt top, and figuring out what scale to quilt. That all becomes easier with experience, and experience takes time. Unfortunately, there's no shortcuts. And sometimes having a computerized system can make the decision fatigue even more difficult. There are literally tens of thousands of digital pantographs to choose from. So analysis paralysis can be real. Only experience will help this. If you already own a computerized long arm, let me know in the comments. How long did it take you before you felt comfortable using it? Okay, I feel like this next section is the most important, and that is a computerized long arm right for you? It's the question I get asked most often, and I'm going to give you an honest answer. A computerized long arm makes the most sense when you are quilting a lot, as in regularly, consistently, with a lot of volume. That's when the investment starts to make real sense, because the thing that automation genuinely solves is the physical toll. Quilting manually all day, every day on a long arm is really hard on your body. Your back, your shoulders, your neck, your arms. If you're running a business and putting quilt after quilt through the machine, then the ability to set up the computer, step back, and watch it stitch is not a luxury. In my opinion, it's how you sustain the work long term. That's the case for computerization, and it's a pretty compelling one. If you're quilting a few quilts for yourself, the occasional one for a friend, maybe the occasional charity quilt, I'll be straight with you. Spending the price of a car on a computer for your long arm is pretty hard to justify. The machine won't get enough use to repay what it costs financially or in the time you spend learning it. For that kind of use, a manual long arm or a good sit down machine will probably serve you better and cost you a lot less. The sweet spot for computerized is really for those ladies who are already running a business or are looking to start one. That's where the computer pays for itself. Another question worth thinking about is, what does the dealer support look like? This matters more than most people realise when they are first looking at long arm machines. When something goes wrong, and it will, you need to know there's somewhere you can get help. Ask about initial training, ongoing service, and find out whether there's a community of other quilters using the same setup. That support network is gold. If you do decide to go down the computerised path, I really want to stress that you need to give yourself time to learn. The computer will not make you a better quilter overnight. It's not a magic fix. It's a tool. It's a really sophisticated and very satisfying tool, but one that you will need to spend time learning nonetheless. Also, find your people. There's a lovely community of long arm quilters online, all of whom are willing to help if you have questions. Which reminds me, if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing lots of Cumatic specific videos coming out soon. So if you're interested in a Cumatic, keep your eye out for those. Also, if you're starting to think seriously about buying a computer, the next question you're going to ask is, which pantographs do I need to buy? Well, I made a video on exactly that. My top 10 pantos I would buy if I was a newbie long arm quilter. These are the ones I'd start with if I was setting up from scratch. I'll link it up here and in the show notes. Go watch that one next. Happy quilting. See you in the next video.